Hello. Good morning to you. Here bright and early. If you're watching this when I just post this at 6 a.m. Well, today we're going to talk about the question that most of you have is God there and how can I know God? This is the first section of my series, and the question is really, is God there? And how can I get to know God? Well, previously in a previous video yesterday, we mentioned about King Solomon and the mathematician Marcel Pascal, right? So today we're going to continue to ask the question and find answers regarding how can we prove God. And yesterday's response to that question was we cannot prove that God either exists or does not exist. So that's not a very good question to ask. No one can prove God exists. God has to reveal himself to you. And so we're going to continue today's talk about how we can think about God and his existence. Because initially yesterday I basically said that we're going to assume God exists, just like the Bible assumes God exists. In the beginning, God, right? The third word in the Bible, well, the fourth word in the beginning, right? And then God is the fourth word, right? So, well, I think a lot of people border between belief and unbelief regarding God's existence. And if you think about how impossible it is for this world to exist without God, you would realize that it is very, very impossible that anything in this world exists without God or without a creator. Let's talk about God, the creator. If you think about any work of art, any work of any masterpiece at all, right? It has to have someone create it. Michelangelo's paintings, um, you know, Shakespeare's works of his literary works, any book out there that has been published. Think about it. Can it suddenly just come to existence without anyone creating it? Can it randomly be um, created? Or can it randomly come to being or come to existence without someone creating it? Most of you, if you have ever written anything, if you've ever written a story, can that story have created itself? Can you randomly type on a keyboard and randomly create something that makes sense, like a story, like a one-page story, even? So think about the world, right? Everything has to be so precise and accurate that if things don't come together, it would just break down. Just think about how, you know even water is H2O, like just different. You need to have two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen in order to create H2O, which is water. So think about it, like how can we even assume that the world is not created by a being? Just think about that, right? um how can the universe exist without God? That is really my question, and my answer is that it's impossible to exist without God. Also, think about how creative people are. Like, if the Bible says that we are created in God's image, and I believe that we are created to be creative. And I know I use the word created a lot because I believe God is the ultimate creator and we are just sub creators. We create because God has given us the ability to create and make us creative, right? So if you don't believe in in God, and you think that the world was created by chance, then chance would be a capital C. The C on chance would be capital C, just like God, capital G for God. And by chance, you actually really mean God, because God created everything, and it's not by chance, because nothing happens randomly. If you think about it, in this world, nothing happens randomly, right? If you can type on a typewriter or a keyboard or anything, or even in your phone, just typing randomly with your thumbs, can you create anything that makes sense? Because ultimately, intelligence comes from intelligence. Intelligence does not come from non-intelligence or unintelligence, right? Something creative, something powerful have to create something else. Nothing comes into being without, nothing comes into being from nothing. If you have ever seen a building, could you imagine if a building just came into existence or became a building randomly, just random blocks of bricks that just form together to create a building? Or if you just randomly, tap your pencil or pen on a piece of paper, would it randomly create something that makes sense? Like if you didn't plan it, like, you can't create anything. So I think the world was created and it was planned. See, the universe, a lot of atheists I've talked to in the past, like, they will say that the universe never made sense to them because it's random. But then if there is a God, then things will start to make sense. So that's one of the biggest takeaway I want you to have today, is that you need to have some kind of intelligent creator behind, the world, the universe. If there is no God, then we would have to invent one to make people, saint, or make people not go crazy. A lot of people, um, the other thing about people, I guess, is that we are religious people. We, in a sense, we need to worship something. We need something greater than ourselves. And in the past, people have always worshipped something. They have always believed in something beyond themselves. In the past, we didn't know about lightning and thunder and rain. We believed that God, in the different people in different parts of the world, they pray to the rain god, or the sun god, or this god or that god, right? So they're always, even the tree god, like, the tree doesn't move. Like, why do they pray to the tree? Because, it's fertility and fruits. It bears fruit. They pray for harvest. They pray for rain. They pray for all kinds of stuff. So why do they do that? Because at the heart of the matter, in the core, we have a vacuum, and we need to worship something. We need something greater than ourselves, because we know ourselves. We know humans are not great. We're not perfect. We're very bad, actually. And that's because, Adam and Eve fell, and then sin entered the world. So we know why. But if you look into ourselves, look into yourself, you will see that you are not good, and that you need God. You need not to blame God as the creator, but to take responsibility for what you've done, but also to recognize that you answer to a higher power. You answer to God, and He is the one who created you, right? So consider the universe that you're living in. Now we are basically mostly on Earth, but one day we're going to maybe travel to other planets. And think about it. Like, if you have ever looked into space, into the stars at night, into astronomy, and you can see that everything is placed there. Everything has intelligent design. This is one of the biggest um, things you need to understand, is that there's intelligence behind all this. And the main thing is, I know what you're thinking. Like, okay, so let's assume that there is God. Let's believe in God, right? But the next question everyone has is, then why is there suffering? If there's God and He's all powerful, why is there suffering? So we're going to answer that in tomorrow's video. Alright, stay tuned for tomorrow, and I'll see you right early 6 a.m. tomorrow, or you can watch it anytime after 6 a.m. when I post it. Alright, take care. I'll see you tomorrow and answer that question. Why is there suffering in this world? Thanks. Take care. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, and comment. Thank you. Bye.